Welcome back. Good morning, Theme Park Wizard. I have two very special guests. We have OG55 and Jalen. Where can I
What's
find
up?
OG?
Well, you can find me on YouTube at Orange Grove 55, where I talk a lot about similar stuff that Theme Park Wizard talks about, but mostly on my channel, it's mostly Disney, a lot of Disney theme park stuff. But we also dive into like the corporate, yeah, like the corporate side as well, like with Bob Chapek and the drama with that and Bob Iger and all that good stuff. So, yeah, a lot of great conversation over there. Check us out, Orange Grove 55 on YouTube. And Wizard, I want to thank you so much for having me on, brother.
And Jalen, where can I find you?
I haven't got YouTube started yet, but I plan to soon. I'm actively on Twitter on my theme park account at it's the handle right here at theme park exp 626 or theme park experiment 626. I'm just getting started and I'm active in the theme park community on Twitter, so that's where you can find me right now.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Go follow him right now. So
I have
today
six
we have
followers.
six. Now soon, by this time, we'll have 60.
Yes,
Yes.
let's hope.
So today, my friends, we have some great topics, some interesting ones that I don't think we've ever talked about before. Maybe. Um,
All right.
First one is Disneyland, of course. You know, Indiana Jones getting refurbishment. What rides at Disneyland or California Adventure? There he is. There's the Matthew. Do you want to see, would you like to see get an enhancement, not a refurbishment to fix things, but an enhancement? Example, I would love to see River Run get some bears added, some animatronic bears added to it. Every single time it goes down for refurbishment in the winter, I'm like, add some bears in there. They never do, but I always hope. So, OG, what rides at the resort would you want to see get an enhancement, not to fix things, but just a plussing, but not a retheme, just a plussing?
Just a plus thing, just an enhancement. I would go with the Incredicoaster. I think that ride needs it
Mm-hmm.
pretty badly.
Mm-hmm.
That whole section with the bunny hills with the Jack Jacks
On a
on,
stick.
Yeah.
yeah, on the sticks. Maybe enclose that into like a tunnel or something so you can have a little more controlled lighting. It'll look a little better. There are things you can kind of do with that attraction to kind of make it look more impressive than it is. I don't know. For some reason, with Pixar Pier when they did that whole thing in 2018. It felt like the budget really just fell out with that attraction. Like there was a lot of
Mm-hmm.
like things about that ride, the retheme that just didn't really hit for me. And also, it just needs, to be quite honest, like a good paint job. It hasn't
Mm-hmm.
been painted in a long time, and it's starting to show. It's pretty grimy. So yeah, there's a lot of work that needs to be done with the Incredicoaster. Um, so that's where I would start. I think that needs it the most.
I totally agree.
Yeah,
Jalen?
definitely. Um, I agree, and I also am in the same park. I think they should do a constant like update with Guardians, like with the soundtrack. Like we have the certain track list, right? Maybe they should do um switch up the songs and because it doesn't the song doesn't affect the ride itself. It just makes it more intense and more, you know, in my opinion, the music makes it less scary because you're so focused on getting in the moment and you don't realize that you're about to drop out of the sky. Like if that's so like maybe they should like switch up the track list, like switch up, do a recycle of six different songs and switch up the vibe every now and then. And then,
It's a good idea. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Keep it
yeah,
fresh, keep it fresh because
yeah,
Disneyland Resort has a lot of locals. So
Mhm.
exactly,
they go often. So why not change it up as much as possible to keep it
exactly,
fresh for those people? It's good.
yeah,
And Matthew wants Big Thunder Mountain to have some animatronic cowboys shooting at each other. I like that.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be
oh
cool.
man,
Yeah,
that'd
that'd
be
be
Oh,
pretty.
insane.
oh, I like these animatronic cowboys. And Matthew coming in clutch again. Go follow Matthew on his Twitter. He's very cool on there. Hello, Almighty Coasters. Let's see. So yeah, Incredicoaster, Grizzly River Run, and uh Guardians. Funny how they're all in California Adventure.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
I mean,
Let me
if you think about it, everything else is pretty much you don't want to really mess with. Like Disneyland is a lot of attractions. Like they're very classic, so it's not much you can do without taking away the classic from it. Yeah.
Mhm. Well, I feel like with Space Mountain, you can provide some enhancement without doing something. I just don't know what that enhancement could be. Maybe better projection effects.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
right.
quite possibly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Space Mountain
No,
could provide
absolutely.
better, and maybe some sleek new trains. Ooh, I like this idea. Yeah,
Yeah, for
sleek
sure.
trains. Ooh, Space Mountain. That's what I'm talking about. Star Tours. Well, they always get enhanced with the new scenes, but I the monorail. Well, they got some sleek new trains, but maybe even sleeker new trains. And we got. Let's see what else we got. We got. I feel like with the Chippendale coaster, they could have. This would have been a great time to almost fully enclose it. Oh, imagine that was an indoor coaster.
Oh, that'd be
Oh,
cool.
Chippendale.
Yeah.
That'd be great. That'd be
You know,
cool.
yeah, I agree with you. It would have been cool to have it enclosed. I would have liked to see them do something completely out the box, like something like an Oswald black and white indoor coaster or something.
Oh, that sounds
That was.
fun. Oh,
I
Hollywood
mean,
backlot.
Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railroad is already bringing life to Toontown. Like, imagine that. That would make Toontown like the designated area. Like, it would bring. It already gets jam packed back there. We'd be like that'd be like two tickets back there probably.
Yeah, it'd be cool. It'd be really cool.
And look, that's still a good idea for the backlot, right? You can make the Hollywood backlot
Yeah.
1920s Hollywood, make the whole land black and white. Oh, yes, whole land black and white with that e-ticket Oswald black and white coaster. Oh,
That'd be
gee, I didn't
cool.
mean to hide you to create Imagineering because you're going to see this project.
Now, what would you guys do? I got to ask you guys this question, like, because Avengers Campus is pretty small, and it's pretty packed in
Yeah.
there. Like, what would you guys do to expand it? Like, would you dip into Hollywood Land, or where would you go exactly to get like more room?
I've always said this since there were rumors that I think Hollywood Land should be on the cutting block. Only because like we have to look at the bigger picture here, right? We know Marvel is our like that's our baby right now. Like everything that's giving Disney success is probably because of Marvel, MCU related, anything superhero, Spider-Man, whatever, it's coming from the MCU, most of our success. So in the long run, we're gonna see more projects, more things in the park related to the MCU. We might as well just, you know, what's more relevant, Monsters Inc. and Hollywoodland or Marvel and MCU characters? I think
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
think we know what's more relevant. So, and we know Disney is gonna go towards the more relevancy because that's just how it is nowadays.
Yeah.
Um, we're past the decade and age where everything is original and things you've never heard of. Like it now, it's things that you have to be relatable to and things that you've seen on TV and stuff. That's the only way they go through with their projects. So and it's like we're already getting the maybe multiverse attraction and the maybe attractions that they talked about at
100%.
D23. But I think if they want to really be successful and really make people happy, just completely make Avengers Campus a full-on thing and expand it to Hollywood. That's my opinion.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Jalen, and you're absolutely right. The days of like these original attractions, like Pirates or Haunted Mansion, those days are over. It's a
Yeah,
different time now. It really is. And hey, maybe that pendulum will swing back eventually to more original concepts. But as of right now, for the foreseeable future, Jalen is absolutely right. It's IP, IP, IP.
yeah,
hmm
100%.
And yeah, I do both. I would. This is what I do. I'd revamp the Hollywood facades, or make the Hollywood backlot more cool Hollywood facades, and featuring Marvel characters, right? So, because they're all starting to, She-Hulk's based in LA now, so they're all starting to come out to California. I'd put Marvel attractions with that cool Hollywood facade and that cool city facade. So you have a little bit of both the Hollywoodland and Marvel Avengers campus in the same lived-in LA neighborhood situation. That way,
No,
and then put some Marvel in there, pieces both sides, and makes it look different. Separates it from Avengers campus while still having Marvel in there.
no, that's smart. And like the MCU takes place in our world. So like Tony Stark lived in LA. He lived in LA. I mean, these cities and stuff, LA, New York, they all exist in the MCU. So yeah, that's a
Right.
great idea. Ethan, like go ahead and utilize Hollywood, but then sort of sprinkle in that Marvel. That's
Yeah,
smart.
You can put an
now I think
Iron
about
Man
it,
poster in Hollywoodland, a Marvel
I
Land
think
Hollywood.
I think that makes more sense than changing the whole layout because like you said, it is in our world, and a lot of characters are based in Hollywood and LA, and there are even some based in New York and stuff like that. So I know they wouldn't go as far as changing it to New York, but if you keep it at Hollywood, keep it as the campus in California,
Mm.
you can have the campus and then you can have the city aspect, and a lot of the movies take place in the city, so yeah, that makes sense to keep it in that area. We just make it noticeable that this is a Marvel universe and not just Hollywood
Mhm.
land.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
like they can like install like some Daily Bugle newspaper little stands. That'd be cool,
Mm.
and then like some interesting stuff like that. Ooh, and it'll be cheaper because Iger wouldn't have to demolish everything. He just build buildings behind. Oh, look at that! I'm on Disney's field out here in Florida.
Yes,
Out
sir.
here, not in Florida. So,
The Florida's on timeout. They can't have any Marvel characters. They're on timeout.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And plus, Florida just got Guardians of the Galaxy, Cosmic Rewind. They're getting Tron. They got all kinds of stuff for their 50th. You got to be we got to be fair to California right now and give
Yeah,
California
that's
more goodies.
right.
every
Because
time we get
California
something,
needs
they one up us.
Right? Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
every time. It's crazy. Except we may get our stuff faster than Florida, so that's good. It's a good selling point.
Yeah, I
True.
guess building a roller coaster that you've already built in Shanghai takes almost 10 years, I guess. I guess.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how long that thing is taking. I was
That's
telling Ethan yesterday on the channel that like Runaway Railway in Toontown, I think started construction after Tron did, and they had to demolish warehouses and build it from the ground up, and it's going to be
From scratch.
finished before Tron is.
That's insane. I mean,
oh
the
God.
only exception that I make is 2020. Other than that, you had from when you announced it in 2017
Yeah,
to and now, and it's still next year, hopefully. That's insane. And it's
it's
a copy
crazy.
and paste. It's not like it's a new thing. It's copy and paste. Yeah, so
Right.
Yeah,
I don't
that is
understand.
strange. You say 2020, and I get you, but I don't know that Velocicoaster is being built in 2020.
Oh
That's a
yeah.
brand new original concept, but
I think I
two
think
different spending strategies over there.
I think after D23, after I was very frustrated with the whole maybe this and maybe that, and how I think Disney should start looking at how Universal approaches their projects. Where like they don't say nothing, and you pretty much know what's going on just by you visiting the park or looking at other people's channels, and okay, that's obviously Nintendo World, or that's obviously the Velocicoaster.
Yeah.
But until they won't announce it till like 2 days before it opened, and it's
I
like
know, right?
it's like
And that's smart. That's smart. And then also it keeps also another thing with Universal is I've noticed that they don't really give you a lot of detail in regards to this stuff either in advance. Like you don't get a ton of concept art and stuff.
mhm,
So because a lot of times fans kind of get like mentally married to the art and what they're expecting. And so when that doesn't show up, they get disappointed, right? Because budget
right.
cuts or changes in the project. Universal is smart. They don't tell you anything, so you can't get disappointed because you don't know what it's gonna be.
Exactly.
Oh yes, and
It's
those people that
it,
are married to the concept art are mostly crazy Disney people.
This is true. They are. Say it one more time, Ethan. Say it one more time.
Crazy Disney people.
Perfect moment. Yeah,
that one
it's
little umbrella wasn't in the that was in the concept art isn't in land. Where did it go?
it's
Funny.
everybody's fault. It's Chapek's fault, even though he's fired.
Right, I know, right? It'll be Chapek's fault forever. They'll figure a way to make it his fault every time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
So
bald
funny.
man bad.
Old man bad.
Like
Yeah.
even the stuff that opens now, though, like, oh, it's not Iger's fault because it was under construction when Chapek was CEO. Even if
Yeah,
it
right.
started when Iger was CEO, then Chapek was CEO, and Iger again. Chapek was still CEO.
It's
Yeah.
hilarious.
I mean, it's crazy because like, um, you 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 would think like Disney would notice these things and be like, okay, maybe we shouldn't do that, but they still do it. Like, I don't think
Right.
they already, I mean, and people have companies have different ways of approaching their projects, but it's like, um, when you go from showing a concept art and saying, yes, this is happening to maybe this is happening, who knows? To me, that's even more like, okay, what are we doing here? Because like,
Right.
why are we getting maybe projects? Like, it should be like yes or no.
Well, and then
Yeah,
the
right?
problem with that, the maybe stuff, is that when it shows you have these, and I saw it, these Disney blogs that go breaking, Moana's coming to Animal Kingdom, and then they didn't say that. They said maybe it's coming to Animal Kingdom. Like
Yeah,
you cannot start releasing that stuff because then when these Disney blogs or news sites say, "Oh my gosh, look, Moana's
they
coming!"
report it. Yeah,
Breaking, breaking. They start repeating like it's official, but it's not. And then it gives more of a false impression,
false narrative.
and
Yeah,
then people get more upset because it said this site said it's coming and now it's not, and that's just it's just they're setting themselves up for failure when they do stuff like that.
yeah. And then when the fans get upset, then we become the unfavorable mix.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Right.
it's
Right,
it's like a lose
exactly.
lose. It's a lose
Yeah.
lose. Like they don't want to see us win.
definitely. The blogs, before they report something as official, you should watch the presentation and then put in the article potentially
Yeah,
coming. It's an idea.
that's
Yeah.
smart too. The blogs do need to be like a little bit more
Yeah.
instead of just who like I understand it's like a competition amongst the bloggers. Who's going to be the first one to report it? Like, but
Hmm.
when you do that, you like you said, you set up a false impression like things are happening and they're not.
Yeah. Like
Right.
if you report it, don't be wrong. Say, hey, you can be the first
Yeah,
one and not be right. You can be like, hey, Disney gave us some blue sky concept art of something they're thinking of what could go in Dino Land. But I saw
yeah.
immediately breaking news.
Right.
Dino
Confirm.
Moana's coming to replacing Dino Land. I'm like, that's not happening.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
a lot of these sites and like vloggers and stuff like there's such a chase of like views and clout and stuff like that
mm,
where it's like
Mhm.
the truth is like really back burner, right? It's all about like get out the information as much as possible to get those eyeballs on your content. And I don't know. I mean, it's like that's like really short term thinking though, because yeah, you'll get those eyeballs for your clickbait, but you ruin your reputation long term, and
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not
they're
good,
like supposed to.
Yeah, because
Right?
Uh,
when they start reading the articles, like, wait a minute, this looks like a bunch of poo poo. Like, it didn't even make sense.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And then you get a reputation like inside the magic before you know it.
Yeah.
oh boy, I
Oh
think that
man,
they outdo themselves every
spot
day
on.
with more headlines. Like I saw something something Disney destroyed are destroying a ride. I'm like, oh, what are you talking about?
So weird.
and
It's
then
Yeah.
they appreciate it. And it's so weird. Question: do you think haunting Nightmare Before Christmas should have its own ride?
I've been thinking about this and I've really sat down and was like, I think the concept of Nightmare Before Christmas has a bigger impact and pull than just Haunted Mansion. That's just my opinion. Like I just think, but you got to remember too, like what makes Nightmare Before Christmas special is the limited time that is there, and
Right.
it's like it's that moment. It's like, oh, let's go do it before it ends. We have to experience it during the holiday season. So
Right.
it's weird because I
Yeah.
think it can stand alone and be successful, but at the same time, it's a limited experience.
No, that's a great point, Jalen. You're absolutely right. Is that limited window? It creates way more. It creates a lot of demand. It's kind of like what
Yeah.
Bob going back to Bob JPEG, like in like the '90s when he started the vault, where he would put the Disney classics away. They wouldn't be for sale on DVD for a period of time and then bring them back. And it was kind of the same idea where you're limiting the supply to create more demand. So yeah, like with Haunted Mansion Holiday, it's very, very popular. And some of that popularity is attributed to like what Jalen was saying, where it's like it's there for such a small time. So everyone like rushes to go check it out. But that would be cool though. I would love to see like some sort of Nightmare Before Christmas, like, attraction. Maybe when they finally build like that Villains Land, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe when they build that.
Maybe.
Maybe.
And Chapek, I must say Chapek seemed pretty persistent, pretty loyal because he used that same technique for Magic Keys. Edges, he keeps applying it. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The same tactic.
Well, if you think about it too, like they can, if they do want to just keep the Nightmare Before Christmas holiday aspect as a limited experience. Let's say, for example, they did keep characters from the franchise, but kept it like from when they're just in Halloween Town, and like you still see Jack and things of that nature, but they're not in. It's just Halloween Town, and it's just Haunted Mansion. They're implemented into the story, but then when it comes to the holiday time, then we still get the overlay with the characters being in the whole Christmas and things of that nature. I mean, I feel like that could work, but at the same time, you do you take that risk and then the whole idea of that franchise gets died out over time because it's like, well, we see Jack Skellington all the time. He's
That's
just
a good
wearing
point.
he's just wearing a Santa Claus
Now
costume
wait,
now.
did you say you said make what Halloween Town? The area around Haunted Mansion?
No, I'm saying like if we implemented the characters from the movie,
Oh,
but
in the
just
Haunted Mansion.
in the Haunted Mansion, but just
Oh,
when before they were inspired by Christmas Town and all that stuff, just as Halloween Town, just the characters as themselves.
well, you know
Yeah.
what? I'm
and
gonna have you make that presentation to all the people, and I'm gonna hide in the back because I can
Yeah,
imagine all throwing pitchforks at you.
yeah,
Well, and that's the problem too with a lot of Disney fans too is like there's look, I understand like the love of nostalgia, but Walt Disney, he made it very clear, like when he created Disneyland, he wanted this thing to constantly change and evolve. And I get it, like
yeah,
fans aren't going to love every single change, but like you got it's part of the whole concept. The initial concept is that
right,
it was going to evolve. You don't want this thing to be a museum, like you want to be
yeah.
open to changing things up.
Mhm. And it's like, of course,
Yeah,
we wouldn't want to see our like favorites go away or be changed dramatically, but at the same time, eventually, um, things that come into the park that are changed drastically, we may not like it, but eventually we'll come around to it.
like
Exactly.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh
And now
man,
it's funny with Mission Breakout. Now I think if they tried to revert it back to Tower of Terror, I think fans would be even more mad.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think so too.
I
I
would, because I was the same. I was like, oh man, you took Tower of Terror away, like Twilight Zone, like that was just so perfect. And now it's like, don't take away Guardians, like just
yeah, no,
everything about it is perfect.
I'd be
Yeah.
pretty pissed.
Well,
Hilarious. I love
I
that
think
people.
the only attraction that I don't care what they do, I don't care if they blow it up, whatever, is web slingers because for them to build the same exact attraction in the same park within what 100 feet of each other, like Midway Mania and web
Yeah.
slingers are literally copy and paste. Like I don't understand what was the thought process like. We're gonna build a a game shooting attraction that's just like the one that we have just around the corner and
Yeah. And
put Spider-Man IP on it.
it made no sense, Jalen. And I would even take it a step further and say that Web Slingers is even a lesser version of Midway Mania. Because at least with Midway Mania, when I'm on that, I know like when I shoot something, I know that that's my dart or that's my right. I
Yeah.
don't know who's who in web slingers. I'm just doing this, and I have no idea if it's my web, her web,
Same.
his web.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's I have the same issues, and like I made a mistake because I took the hype and I was like, I'm gonna buy the little accessory and I'm gonna be extra and I want to be the super Spider-Man, and
Oh,
it
you
makes
bought
no
the
difference.
accessory. So are you winning more now with that accessory?
No, absolutely not.
Oh
It, it's
no.
it it just looks cooler. Literally, it just looks cooler. But it's I wish I would not have done it because, like he was saying, like you can't even really tell because it's so chaotic. It's so much stuff happening. You can't even really tell exactly what your web is. It's just, I mean, obviously you can tell because mine has the little certain thing on it, but then again, it still gets mixed up with the other one, so you don't. It's hard to aim at the specific things in this. It's just too chaotic. It
It's too
doesn't make
chaotic.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The webs
Yeah.
are going everywhere, and then the scene is changing and going crazy. So it's just like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. I
Yeah.
that
Maybe.
I get frustrated because I was really pulling for Avengers Campus to be like really good because I'm a fan of the movies and characters. So I was like, oh man, this land should be perfect. Like it should be almost perfect. And when they pretty much threw the Avengers ride in the bin and whatever they're doing with that, and now we're in Avengers Campus itself. Technically, we have Mission Breakout, but I sometimes I forget that it's even a part of Avengers Campus because it
me
was a
too.
standalone attraction. But like
Yeah.
in the heart of Avengers Campus, we only have web slingers, so we have to work with that for whenever they decide they're actually going to build a bigger e-ticket attraction.
Yep.
And
In
I don't know.
2075.
There you go.
I think they
There
have
you
the
Yes.
go.
same. I think they have the same timeline as Tron. They're on the same schedule.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or maybe even a longer one. Who knows? Like, oh
Yeah.
boy, yeah, I don't know where that thing is. But hopefully, with that new that increase in spending, they can spend it over on Avengers Campus because oh boy, the biggest property has the smallest land.
Yeah.
Make
Yeah.
it make sense,
Who would have
OG.
thought?
It makes sense.
It's wild. They got to figure something out with that with Avengers Campus. And I was actually kind of encouraged that Bob Iger and Daddy Josh were kind of walking through that land recently.
Mm,
Because Iger, whenever you hear Bob Iger talk about like his legacy and what have you, he always brings up Marvel and Black Panther. He has a real affinity for the Marvel like franchise. So
mm.
hopefully when he walks through that land, he's like, okay, it's okay, not great. We can do better. And hopefully they have some plans going forward for it.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
because we don't know when's the last time he's been in a park. So if this is like his first time in a while seeing that, and it's like, all right, we got to do something. I would hope it was like all right, we got to do something because this is very lackluster.
Yeah, no,
Mm.
100%.
The
Uh,
crowds are there, but the
question:
attractions are not.
Why
Yeah.
is everything good go to Florida? Why does everything good go to Florida? It's an opinionated question, but it's a question.
Yeah, sometimes yes, sometimes no though. Like they haven't gotten a nighttime parade in forever over in Florida. Like
Yeah.
we consistently get the nighttime parades. A lot of actually, it's funny because a lot of Floridians kind of get jealous over us. Like it's like that "Be Fair to Florida" meme.
Hmm.
So it's kind of funny, but yeah, they got some cool stuff over there though. I really wish that we could fit Cosmic Rewind out here. I think that seems like a really cool
Yeah,
attraction.
very
Stuff like
fun.
that. I still wish we would have got Westcott Center. I would love to have like an Epcot style park here in California. Like I would
Yeah,
love
That'd be
something like that.
cool.
Yeah.
yeah. There's a lot of things that I wish we had from Walt Disney World, but what we have and they don't have is perfect weather. We can go any time in the year. They have to do it. They have to go in the park when it's a hurricane and stuff like that. Like, I don't want to
Yeah.
deal with that.
And it's
They
like
made a
all humid.
yeah. Like, I
Yeah,
don't want to have to
no
deal with
way.
that. But it
Um,
definitely, if we were able to get like, if we're talking about like attractions that they have that we wish we have, I definitely want the Tron coaster, like, but on a shorter schedule, not on, not on
yeah.
the
You'll
Disney World
get it when
schedule.
you have grandchildren. even if they
Yeah.
start tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh God. What do I think of Daddy Josh as Park's chief? Daddy Josh, he's pretty cool. We like him. Cool. We'll see what he does now with the Iger's back in the hot seat. But he sure
I
looks
think
nice walking around there with his
yeah.
sweater on.
Well, and that's the thing. That's my biggest issue though with him is that yeah, he looks nice and he has the style part down and he's talking to people and he's smoozing and that's good to do. I'm not saying that's bad. But the issue I have with Daddy Josh is that like it's all style. Like I can't really point to anything that he did like other than
Yeah.
taking pictures
Me
with
neither.
fans.
Yeah, I don't.
Me neither.
People are like, oh, like he's the chief of Disneyland. It's like, what has he done though? Like, what decisions has he made? Because as far as I know, he has nothing. He's just like to me, I just see him as the label. Like he's just the park's chief. Like other than that, I don't. What does he do? Like I don't know what he
Right.
does.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know.
Yeah,
I mean, at
I'm.
least Chapek, when Chapek was the parks chief, he had like projects and stuff attached to his name, and there was at
Mhm.
least some kind of legacy there for good or bad. I can't tell you anything that Daddy Josh has done,
I
good or bad, other than take pictures with people. I don't know.
yeah.
You know what? Besides giving a bad D23 presentation and
That's true.
taking pictures of people, I can't say, oh, he did this or did I can't. Besides walking out there and
Well,
smiling.
I'm sure he does
Maybe
the
maybe
normal
that's
like.
why he was hired. Maybe they said you are not in charge of any projects. We just need you to get on a good image, so you're restricted. Mm.
Smile and wave, boy. Smile and wave.
Right,
Can't-
right, exactly. Well, to be fair, he did create the maybe verse, right? He did
Oh
create the
yeah,
Oh
maybe
yeah.
gotta give him props.
verse.
Oh
Gotta give
man.
him props.
Question. I don't think you know this, OG, but Jalen, what is a Kamek wand?
I like the
Is there
comedian.
someone in the Harry Potter universe called Kamek? Kamek?
Um,
Kamek?
I'm
This
not
doesn't
familiar with
sound
that.
familiar to me. Um,
Yeah, actual franchises
okay,
from
so
because
what's a
I'm
Kamek
assuming it's Harry
wand?
Potter.
Okay. Yeah, because this discussion was they're talking about the Harry Potter wands, and someone said that the web singers thing was the Disneyland's trying to one up a Universal with the Harry Potter wands, and they started getting into a big wand conversation. But I've just never heard of unless it's one of the new wands. I don't know.
Maybe.
What's a
Probably.
Kamek wand? What you may call it? He prefers, yeah, okay, Universal, Hollywood, because Nintendo World they'll be in both. Um, don't go to Florida at the end of August.
Oh
You're
yeah, I
going,
made the same mistake. Oh my god.
you're going beginning of August. Oh, you're leaving the beginning of August. It's August 2nd, OG. Yes, yeah, that's when you're going
That's
home.
correct.
Oh, so I
I
guess you'll
think
miss it.
so. Yeah, I gotta ask George actually. I think it might be actually July, so it's gonna be hot. It's gonna be
Yeah, I
hot.
made the same. The last time I went to Florida, I went in that same like July, August, and like the weather was, I mean, it was probably the worst thing I've ever experienced.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's so humid. Like from what I'm hearing, it's like really, really humid and like just and then it rains
Yeah.
randomly.
Yeah, exactly. Like it'll be like humid and hot, and then the next day or like 2 minutes later, it's like pouring down raining, like it's a storm. Like it's
Yeah,
insane.
and it's definitely yeah. Each time I went to Orlando or Miami, it was hot and humid, and I was like, oh my goodness. After a week or two, I'm like, I have to get out of here. It's too humid. I'm like, I'll never forget in Animal Kingdom. We're walking, and all of a sudden, it's just like someone dumped a bucket of water on me, and it's just pouring. And all of a sudden, it
So
Crazy.
stopped out and dried me out.
I have a question. I have a question regarding like I recently I see something where like the people at NBC were saying something like Epic Universe is gonna have different entrances and stuff like that. I was a little
Yeah, the
confused.
portal.
What do they mean by that? Like you can only go in one park or one land per day. Like I was confused by that.
Yeah, so there'll be the central hub, and then there'll be the four entrances, four portals, and you can only go one way and out one way to the portals, which allows them to close them off or section them off and or be fully immersed in one land and there's not like a connection. So it's Nintendo World, you're going in Nintendo World and you're going out of Nintendo World. The same way you came in. You're going into monsters, you go in monsters and out monsters the same way you came in, which allows the hub to be open to everyone or free if they choose that way. And then you just either pay per land if you want or pay if only those with the paying ticket can pop in, because I think the plan was gonna they want to have everyone, whether you go in or not, to be able to watch the fireworks shows they're gonna have, and they have this World of Color style show and this amphitheater. They want everyone to be able to watch that, whether you pay or not, and that's
Wow,
So
what
that
pretty much, so pretty much put City Walk in the middle of the
yeah.
theme park.
Like see,
right.
Walk, yeah, and the attractions. I don't know if you'd have to if you don't have a paying ticket. I don't know if you can ride the two. You might be able to because it's just two rides in the middle of the hub. Like even the land's main restaurants, like and gift stores are all gonna be right next to the portal. So like there's gonna be a Nintendo restaurant and a no and a gift shop and a Monsters gift shop and restaurant, but they'll be right outside the portal. So even when the land's closed, usually the park stays open an hour later for the shopping. Those will still be able to be open for everyone to go to, even when the park is closed.
Now,
For
Ethan, I was going to ask you, like, so like you said, like you could pay, like you can pay, like the rumor is that you can pay per land for this.
yeah. There's a rumor going on that the different ways you're gonna do it. Either like hub is free, and then you can, let's say, I want to only go to Nintendo and Monsters, and maybe that's just, and then or you want to get all four lands, maybe that's one ticket, or maybe you should go, hey, I just want to go to Nintendo, and like just that's a ticket, and that way that's why it's like sectioned off like that. And then you go to City Walk, and you kind of just walk in, or the hub is like a City Walk, and you walk in and just hang and eat and then leave if you want and not go into any of the lands. You know, it's an interesting concept and I like it. I'm curious to see how it's gonna work.
Now you have pretty good sources, Ethan. Like me, Dre, and I have been really impressed by like your scoops because they always
Mhm.
turn out like correct. So you're hearing that though too. Like you're hearing that this is what they want to
Yeah.
do. Like
In fact,
far too.
I heard that like last year. Like and I've been hearing it ever since.
Wow.
Some sort of operation thing like that. And then approved it with the concept art. I'm like, because it was actually a long time before the park was even broke ground. Somewhere they said they're gonna have an interesting concept where you can only go in and out of one land at a time. I'm like, I couldn't picture it. Then the concept art came out. I'm like, oh, I can picture it now. This is how it's gonna work. And I'm 90% sure that's probably what they're gonna do, because then again they want everyone to be able to see those nighttime entertainment. So the nighttime entertainment would be like free for everyone basically,
Wow.
and then you can just either pay to go in each land. Interesting
Well,
concept. I'm
I have
curious.
another question. Do you guys think that before the 2028 Olympics, either Disneyland or Universal will have another huge I'm saying e-ticket for both e-ticket classification of an attraction at either one of the parks. Like I know we're gonna have Super Nintendo World that's just now opening, and then I know we have Runaway Railway that's just about to open. But I still feel like, and then obviously Tiana's, but I don't think I don't think that's Disney's plan to bring in the amount of people that are coming around the world to come to the Olympics. I don't think Tiana's Bayou Adventure and Runaway is going to be the come to Disneyland type of attraction. I still think there's something to be done still
Yeah.
before the Olympics. I just want to know what you
Well,
guys think.
for Disneyland, oh yeah, go. You can go, G.
Oh no, I would just say I think for Disneyland timeline wise, I think that multiverse ride is going to be the thing that would probably line up the most with the 2028 Olympics, at least for
Yeah,
DC.
has to,
Yeah.
because anything else, goodness, we didn't even. That's another thing. Disneyland didn't even get like a maybe in the
Yeah.
blue
No.
sky. There's only Disney World stuff. I'm like stupid Florida. Well, I was
but go,
hoping to see Tomorrowland there, but
yeah.
yeah, but I'd say the Avengers thing for 2028. Yeah, I guess if they start
Because that's about 4 or 5 years from now. So even if it
Yeah.
opens in 2027, it's still new for the Olympics. So I'm
Mhm.
thinking that might be
Yeah.
the at least for DCA, the one big thing for the Olympics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they'd have to like plan it. That takes 8 years, and then they have to build it. That takes 20. So yeah, we can
Yeah.
get it. Right.
You know,
Universal though, they'll have a lot of great things coming, which would be great. We'll have obviously the Fast and Furious coaster Diagon
Oh
Alley
yeah, I
supposed to
forgot
open
about
around
that.
20. Diagon Alley supposed to open 2027 or 2028. Potential classic Monsters Land will be coming over there in the lower upper lot. You got the Bourne, so the hotel, because the Universal NBC, is the broadcaster of the Olympics. So their plan is they want to be hosting, have in-park segments at Universal Hollywood with the Olympics. So we got to make the park beautiful to showcase those. When they do those, when they go to their commentating or whatever they do, they want to have like a setup down there on the lower lot for
Here's
or up lot
here's
for the
here's the
Olympics.
underdog question. When are we gonna start noticing that slowly but surely Universal is slowly starting to creep up in competition? Like it may be a significantly smaller park and they
Yes.
may only have one park, but slowly but
Yeah.
surely the things that they're pushing out and the way that they're pushing out their projects is slowly starting to become competitive with Disney. And they've always been competitive with Disney, but it's starting to become a little bit more like, well, they're doing things a lot more quicker and faster over there,
Mhm.
and
well,
they're
yeah.
high quality projects.
Yeah, and what Ethan was saying too, like how like they're building that NBC Universal like office building so they
Mhm.
can offload some of these sound stages and stuff to expand Hollywood, like theme park
Mhm.
space for
Mhm.
Hollywood. So
Yeah,
that's interesting. Yeah, and Jalen, you're right. I think that they'll never really be um, on the same level as Disneyland Resort, just because
Mhm.
Disneyland has two parks, and I don't think Universal
yeah,
can ever really do that in Hollywood. But I do think that they're
Mhm.
gonna step up though in terms of that competition level. Absolutely, I think that
yeah,
they're serious about it and they're hungry, and I think it's gonna be more and more intense. Absolutely.
yeah. It's starting to
Yeah.
become a real tight race, like projects wise. Like Disney is like, maybe you'll get this in a million years, and we're
Yeah.
gonna open this little attraction that's the same as this one down the street. And yeah, we could do that maybe. But in the Universal, it's just like here, 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 and they're like e-ticket attractions, like and they're getting it done in like a 3 to 4 year timeline or schedule.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that like that Donkey Kong coaster is going to be freaking
Mhm.
massive because like
Yeah,
everything I've heard about that, where you jump the track and all that, I mean that's going to
Mhm.
be just
yeah.
gold
I
for
mean,
them.
just
It's
Absolute
like
gonna
gold.
be
who sat there
bonkers.
and thought about that? Like, and the engineers, like, there's the engineers and then there's the designers. Whoever designed it was probably crazy and was like, I'm gonna make this track jump this track. And then the engineers like, yeah, that's not happening until they actually looked at the thing and the engineers had to have approve it and make sure it worked on their blueprints and they're working on it somewhere. So it's crazy.
It's pretty cool. That's a cool concept.
Yeah, like
Versus in Disney,
wow.
we're getting copy and paste attractions. Yeah.
Right.
Nothing
The Runaway
original.
Railway and
Yeah,
yeah.
And the treehouse. Well,
yeah.
that's
Oh
just a
my God, I
Right.
re-opening.
can't
That's
wait
been a
for the
long
treehouse.
I
I I gotta
The
well
give
that
me
that's
treehouse.
a
It better be the most amazing thing. It's taken so long, so I better be like mind blowingly amazing.
the weird thing about the treehouse, and this is like a typical like Imagineering thing. I don't know what it's very strange. So it's the Adventureland treehouse inspired by the Swiss Family Robinson treehouse. So why not just make it the Swiss Family Robinson treehouse? I don't understand that. Like
uh,
really
I don't know.
weird stuff.
It's
I
their
don't
new
even
thing.
get that.
It's like
Doesn't make
it's Splash Mountain inspired by Tiana. So it's a new thing going on there. It's a new trend.
Yeah. Right.
I'm
Yeah.
also
Exactly.
dis
Splash Mountain.
I'm also disappointed that they just swept under the rug that there's no more Jingle Cruise. Like, why do we just get rid of Jingle Cruise? Like that was like that was something I was looking forward to, and it's gone. So is I think they did
Jingle
their
Cruise. I
small
actually
little.
didn't care for that one.
I mean, it's not like a Jingle Cruise, but it was kind of like a cool like it brought
It
The
was
Christmas
different, yeah.
spirit to Adventureland. So
Hmm.
that's what.
And it was creative. It was a
Yeah,
creative addition for sure. And I think they only had it like 1 year, right, Jalen, or something like that. It was
yeah.
like 1 year.
Yeah, it
It
was like
didn't live long, but when it
yeah, it was
did
like
live,
one
it
of
was pretty cool. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. And maybe Florida got mad and they want to keep their own specific thing, like we have our own specific things.
Oh, you did mention earlier we talked about the enhancements. I just thought about something.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's one of our golden classic attractions, and I'm not really saying for this to actually happen, but it would be so cool if we got Shanghai's version of Pirates of the Caribbean. That would be
Oh
so
yeah,
cool.
Ooh, that'd be
that'd be
great.
That would be
yeah,
so cool.
yeah, that would
And
be
That'd
cool.
be that'd be
and that
Oh,
that
wow.
would
Even if we
go
got
ahead,
the
go ahead.
same ride system for a different ride, like a frozen ride like that, that'd be any that ride system with different any IP would be super cool.
well, you can. Speaking of like Avatar right now, you can do an Avatar attraction with that technology. It would be,
Oh
especially with
yeah.
water, how it goes underwater and comes up and
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
that is cool. Oh man, OG, what do you think about Mr. Matthews' comment here? I
Let
think
me
it should
see.
some Disney flicks being culturally insensitive. Surely a documentary could put these concerns to rest.
That's interesting. Like kind of shed some light on it. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
mean that's a thing. That's a thing at Disney right now. They definitely are removing things and changing things due to being like culturally insensitive. I know Ethan, you and I have talked about that quite a bit. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. It's an interesting topic. I think that like look, I think there's a place for that, but at the same time, I think that kind of thing it's very easy to go overboard too. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
kind of have to pick and choose a little bit and be careful with that because you can go totally overboard with that, and before you know it, the whole park is problematic. You know? So
Yeah. I see. This is how I think about the whole situation and how, for prime example, how Splash Mountain got its rethink. I don't think. Let's be honest and let's be real. I may get a lot of stuff for this, but let's be honest. No one cared what Splash Mountain was about. No one cared what the whole backstory was because no one knew about it. That movie came out when I wasn't even thought of. A lot of people weren't even thought of when that movie even existed. So people guests would visit the park and get on Splash Mountain and think like, oh, these are just critters and this little like no one would think like this is a racist ride. Like no one. I promise you,
Hello.
90% of people that got on that attraction had that thought process. And
right.
it wasn't until it became this whole story that everything is insensitive and racist. And even then, when it happened, I was like, dude, it's so unnecessary. Like, I'm not object to a Princess and the Frog theme, but I don't think it fits in Critter Country, and I don't think you could have done something else or something. I don't think the whole retheme of Splash Mountain was necessary. Um, I
Ooh,
wasn't
No,
offended.
for
I'm
you.
still not offended. It's just not you. How can you be offended by something that has nothing to do with you and something that happened so long ago? So
right,
that's what it
right.
was
Question
about.
for you, Jalen, because I haven't asked you. I've talked to OG and Vash about it. But so now they're doing it. What do you think of it so far? Everything you've seen, all the concept art, the three little pieces model. What do you think? Are you
I
like
mean,
nervous? Are you excited? Are you like, uh-oh? Are you like, this is gonna knock it out of the park? Just on what you've seen and heard from the
I
D23 Mist Expo.
yeah, I at first it was like I was excited not because of the whole politics reason, like oh they need to. I was more excited like oh it's something different and new
Mhm.
coming to the
Yeah,
park. As a fan of the parks, I
yeah.
that's
Just
that,
get a
that's my
new
point. Like
attraction.
yeah, it was nothing political. I didn't look at it. I didn't think about it. Nothing political. I was like okay, this is something new and fresh or something different coming to the park. I'm excited for it. Let's see what they have to offer. And then as the concept art started to come out, it was just
Or
like,
the lack
well,
thereof.
yeah, yes, that's what I was leaning towards, like the very like not concept art. It pretty much looks exactly the same,
I
and
know, except they took the tree stump at the top of it.
yeah,
So, uh,
I don't know. It's like I'm excited, yes, for the aspect that we're getting something different, but if they didn't change it, I would not be mad. I would not be mad if it was just Splash Mountain and they just fixed the attraction in areas that it needs to be fixed. But like I said, I'm not completely object to the idea of Princess and the Frog. I don't care about who needs to be in the park and it. it's just a different IP going back there. So I mean, I
Yeah.
guess something different.
Yeah, and I think it works. I think this franchise, Princess and Frog, I think it works beautifully with the New Orleans side of Disneyland. I think that that's gonna be a nice little segue, to kind of extend that. I love the New Orleans theming, especially at night with the jazz music and all that. I think that's gonna be beautiful.
Yeah.
But Jalen, you brought up a great point too, though. Like, what do you do about Critter Country? Because the ride will kind of the entrance to it is more like Critter Country side. So you have Pooh and everything over there. What are they gonna do with that, right?
Exactly. So now that causes a whole situation.
The whole thing, yeah, exactly. So,
well, Pooh eats honey, and that's very problematic. So I think we have to change it to a Naveen attraction. Problem
I
solved.
guess.
There you go.
And that's the thing. It's like it brings such a huge task, and that's probably why they haven't done much with the project besides showing little snippets, because they still don't even know how to really approach it. Like as far as the land goes, do you expand New Orleans Square and make that all New Orleans Square? But Winnie the Pooh and Pooh Corner have nothing to do with New Orleans Square, so it's like,
No.
do you just demolish or retheme that attraction for no apparent reason? Like that's I feel like that's the main reason why they haven't done or said much about the project, because they still don't know exactly what they're going to do with it.
Right.
That's right. That's the big point. Making up as they're going along, and that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Or they could just not say nothing like Universal and get things done. But
there you go.
They can later just say, "Hey, Mountain will close January 8th," and there's a blog, just a little Instagram post, and then boom, do their own thing.
Apparently, they already got it figured out in Disney World, because they already announced their closing date, so they already have it figured out. I'm assuming they have it figured out because it's a whole different layout. They don't have New Orleans Square, I don't think. So
no, they don't have it.
So then again, their situation is just as confusing, because how does Tiana fit into? Yeah, how does she fit into Frontier or Liberty Square? Like neither one of those have nothing to do with Tiana. So
makes no sense.
Funny comment. We know McCarthy doesn't eat honey. You have that drop?
Oh, I got the Wastelands McCarthy drop. Hold on one sec.
This is great.
Here we go.
And there's the biggest bargain of all.
There we go.
Oh, man.
I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, was it necessary to even do like a, usually that's what Disney likes to do. They like to announce one project and be like, oh, we're going to do the same exact thing at our other park in Disney World. I don't think that was necessary. Like we could have, it doesn't make sense, but it makes more sense to have it at our park than it does in Disney World. They could have just
totally
Splash Mountain, and I don't think anybody would be mad. I think that makes more sense than you trying to force this story and narrative that she somehow fits into Frontierland or Liberty Square.
No, 100%. Yeah, it's a real stretch over at Walt Disney World. It's at least here in California we do have that Pooh problem, but like much better placement situation over here, much better.
Yeah, definitely. Because Pooh's, like, if you take Hungry Place Bear and make it Tiana's place, and then you just have a small corner to do something with. But like in Orlando, they have it's part of Frontierland, so that's like cowboys and stuff like that.
And I don't know how Splash Mountain fits in that, but it works better than Princess.
And I think it fits because there's I know their music's more kind of like a country type of music at that. The same songs, but it's performed in the country type of way. So it's just critters like kind of in the frontier type of thing. So I feel like it makes sense.
That's interesting.
But I liked was a Jax from DSY Newscast idea to make it Western River Expedition. If you're gonna change it at all, just make it Western River Expedition like it was supposed to be.
Oh yeah, but that'll never happen because like what Jalen was talking about earlier, it's all about the IP.
Yeah, it's IP. Or you can make it and then quickly put a Western River Expedition movie out there, something
on Disney Plus. I gotta ask you guys. Speaking of Disney Plus, real quick, last night we were watching I think it's called Disenchanted. Is that what?
Oh
Disenchanted,
yeah.
yes.
Did you fellas see that yet?
I did. Did you,
I
Jalen?
did not. I did not.
Yes,
I
I
plan
did.
on watching it, but
It,
And I was
well,
gosh,
did you
I was
like it, Ethan?
disappointed. I was a little disappointed there. I like the act. You know, Amy Adams gives it her all. So
Yeah,
I was like, "Good job, and you're just
yeah,
back in 2007." For the rest, like the Patrick Dempsey's character, he seemed a little silly,
yeah.
like stupid. Like I'm like, yeah, I'm like, what are you? Like, in fact, it almost seemed like they had nothing for him to do, so they just had him running around with the sword the whole time. But
Totally. He was the weakest
here's
part of the movie.
here's
yeah,
the other question: do you think it was necessary to have a sequel to that movie? I don't think it was
I
necessary.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not, but I really liked the movie, so I was really excited for Disenchanted, and that's why I was like, "Oh my gosh, I love
Yeah,
this
I was
movie!"
too. I was like, oh man, like the first one was really good. It was really
Yeah,
funny. I would definitely not mind the second one, but it's starting to
but
seem like
yeah,
it didn't,
but the way it happened, it was, and it was one of those things where the trailers made it seem something different than the actual movies happening. You know, like
Mhm.
the trailers give up an impression like, "Oh, whoa," but then you watch it and you're like, "Oh, that different than what I expected," and it was
Yeah.
like one of those bait and switch things.
See,
Mm.
I actually,
Spoiler,
I
but
actually, I actually liked it, but I was never. This is the weird thing with me though. Like I went in with really, 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 really low expectations because I was never a huge fan of the first movie. So, when we watched it last night, I was kind of like, okay, this is gonna be bad. I kind of went in with that mind. So when I was watching it, I'm like, okay, actually, I'm okay with this. Actually, the music is pretty good. I was like, wow, the music is like old school, like '90s fairy tale.
Mhm.
Right? Like Beauty and the Beast style or whatever. It was, I don't know. I
Yeah,
kind
the
of dug
music
it.
was decent. I like the music part. I think it just had
Yeah.
the story and like how it happened.
Well, and you're absolutely right about Patrick Dempsey. They had no idea what to do with
Yeah,
him. So they just
and
had
him,
him
I
running.
totally
Yeah.
got. He's a good actor, and he's good in the first one. But like, and I like, sorry, Jane, slight spoiler, but like, this is literally his
It's
whole
all
role.
good.
He's running around with the sword the whole in random scenes. He comes in with his sword, and then with this dumb look on his face. I
Yeah.
felt so bad for him because he had really in the first one,
He's
obviously,
such
had
a
a
good
lot more to
actor.
do. And I was like, really? Like, you signed on for this? Like, I would have said, hey, I'll be in the sequel, please. I'm not. Give me a bigger role. Like,
He probably got a pretty good paycheck.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
probably
For sure.
because, and then there's one scene where she like totally just like pushed him away. I'm like, wow. I mean, I guess you'll see in the context of the movie, but she like pushes him out of this cart, like, and she's just go. I'm like, and he just runs off into the woods with his sword again. It was almost funny though. Oh,
Yeah.
at that point, it was so ridiculous. It was almost funny.
Yeah.
But
It had a lot of cheesy moments for sure. And I expected that kind of going into it. I was expecting this thing to be cheeseball kind of entertainment. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Overall, I was okay with it. Some of the CGI was questionable. I don't know. Yeah, it was. Look, it's perfect for like that Disney Plus, like straight to D plus kind of movie. You know?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's better than Strange Worlds.
Oh yeah.
Did you see
I
Strange
didn't even
Worlds?
want to give that movie a chance.
It
One thing about that movie is like I gotta go watch that.
doesn't look good.
No music, no nothing. There's nothing. Like terrible,
Well,
terrible.
and then people are blaming the marketing for that movie, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. But even the people that are seeing the movie are coming back saying it sucks. So yeah, if the marketing's bad, that's one thing. But when people are actually sitting there watching it, coming out of the theater and going, nah, it wasn't good. Well, that's on the movie then.
And as for the
Yeah, because
marketing,
when you
yeah, I
even
would. Oh no, yeah, I'm saying for the
when
marketing
you
part, I get it the first weekend. All right, wasn't marketed, but if it's
Right.
so good, you think word of mouth would move up its box office the second
Right.
weekend because it's so good, right? But it fell 60% in the next weekend, which is not good. Even then it was marketed a little bit, but you think it was so good, people would say you gotta go watch this movie, gotta watch the movie, and then it would have have good legs, but. It's funny. After that, all those marketing people went away. I didn't see
Yeah.
any without
Right.
marketing.
Yeah. It was crickets. It was crickets.
I mean, just watching the trailers and stuff is like, what what is it about? I don't get like a glob. Like I don't. I'm so
Yeah.
confused. I don't know what's going on, and that's like the biggest turn off for me watching the movie is if I don't know what's going on in the trailer, I'm definitely not gonna know what's going on in the movie.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, it's confusing. It looks weird. I have no desire to watch that.
And I'm very disappointed, really, because one of the main characters' names is Ethan, and of course that has to be the bad movie. Terrible.
Of
Mm.
course.
But a good movie, apparently. Even though I had my doubts. You're right, OG. I had my doubts. Avatar. Oh boy, it seems to be crushing it over there. Crushing it. And I guess I'll be seeing it this
Yeah, I heard.
weekend at AMC.
I heard
Uh,
James Cameron put out the script for the fourth film, and the film people were blown away. It's like that's the fourth film. We're not even talking about the third one yet. We're only on the
Right.
second one. So
yeah.
if the
Uh,
fourth film script is blowing people away, I'm the same way. I was like, what's making this movie so like breathtaking and like impressive? I'm sure it's the cinematic experience, like the way that it looks and probably the acting and stuff. But you it doesn't happen too often where you see like a project that has like for example like Fast and Furious. Like there's so many films in that franchise. You wouldn't expect it to be just like so successful over and over again. Even in the last three, I feel like the last few films of that franchise were successful only because it's the name of Fast and Furious is gonna pull people in regardless. But if we're talking about like just a good movie, people aren't gonna watch that movie. I watched it only because, like I said, I literally only watched the last Fast and Furious only because it's Fast and Furious, not because I chose,
yeah, me
it looked
too.
like a good
Like,
movie.
they freakingly went to space. Like, that was crazy. That was
Yeah.
so funny.
That's how you know
So,
you're running out of ideas.
yeah, I know, for real. So, with this new Avatar, do you see Pandora getting an expansion?
Um, in Animal Kingdom, I'm sure.
Mhm.
I'm sure there's some type of. I mean, but it's kind of tricky because because this overall story and world that we experience in Avatar is still the same. It's just a
Mhm.
different part of that world and of that story. So, what more can you do necessarily? Like, if they were to expand and build another attraction or something of that nature, what would that be around? Because we have pretty much the two main things that make Avatar, and that's being able to those things that we see flying around all the movies,
The
and
Banshees.
the whole yeah, and then the whole journey of the water, which is pretty much you seeing the landscape of Avatar. So those are the two main like heart pumping um, concepts of the story and of the franchise. So if they were to expand, what more can you do? Like that's the only thing
Well,
I'm thinking about. Like what other
well,
part of the story can you?
I'm thinking a highly immersive Banshee coaster.
Pretty cool.
Come on, a
Oh
little
yeah, that'd
launch
be
family coaster, especially at nighttime, going that goes right through bioluminescent trees and plants. Wow! Ooh,
Uh,
that would be
that-
incredible.
yeah, that would be cool. That'd be cool. Yeah, I wouldn't need, this is a franchise that, look, from what we're hearing from the box office, this thing is going to be a beast at the box office. So I think that, I think that there's definitely a motivation to expand Pandora. One thing that I think would be kind of cool, it's kind of hard though in Animal Kingdom because they already have another ride with the same ride system in that park. But I would like to see a Jeep ride going through Pandora, like Indiana
oh
Jones, but
yeah.
you're traveling through like, these beautiful sets of Pandora, and you're
Mm.
seeing the Navi and what have you, and you're in that Jeep, right? And kind of touring the landscape. I think that'd be really, really cool. The only issue with that though is that they already have Dinosaur, and it's like, I don't know, it's in the same park. So it might be a little
Yeah.
redundant
But
unless they get rid of that.
you can make it outdoors.
Well, that would be cool. Oh man, that would be
An
awesome.
outdoor
I
Jeep.
mean, but OG, that wouldn't stop them because Disney has done it before with Web Slingers and Midway Mania, so they
That's
wouldn't stop
true.
it.
That's true.
even
You're
And
though
they've
right.
done
even
it
though
in
that
much more effective ways with Small World and Pirates. So, it
yeah.
can be done. Could be done. But
But
yeah, you can go
the only
outdoors
thing
and
was that it'd be a lot more expensive to build that than to build attraction like that. So
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
True. Uh,
I
man.
would love that.
Yeah.
I would love that.
I
I've always
mean,
been a
anything
fan.
that increases the bioluminescence. It just looks so great at nighttime. Wow. Can you imagine an outdoor Jeep ride at nighttime with the bioluminescence?
That'd be incredible. I'm telling you, that'd be amazing. That'd be
With
incredible.
a full scale avatar animatronic, like that'd be
Yeah, like
That'd be incredible.
wow. And then the coaster right there, going through those same bioluminescence. And then with the coaster, there's gonna be a part where you dive into an underwater. You dive underwater, like a tunnel. He goes to built a tunnel in a lake, and you just dive under. Woo! And then you see some animatronic hobby in the in the
okay.
ocean. Wow.
Here's another question. Would you, because it seemed like it'd be one or the other. Would you accept a um Avatar expansion, or would you be open to like maybe something Wakanda related in Animal Kingdom?
Oh, that's interesting.
Interesting, interesting.
Well, I'm
Because go ahead,
well,
go ahead.
yeah. I was just in terms of franchises, I'm more interested in Wakanda than I am Avatar. I'm not a
Mhm.
big Avatar guy, like personally. So I
Yeah.
think selfishly, I would probably want the Wakanda land.
Yeah, I think that would be so
Yeah.
cool. Like Wakanda's are if you've seen the films and stuff, you know that they're known for the super high technology. So like you would almost have to use your best technology that you have. Talk to Shanghai, then people, whoever you got to talk to, but you would use that same whatever's the newest stuff going on right now, you'd use that same technology in the land and you can there's so many things you can do a simulator based attraction, you can do a Jeep attraction going through Wakanda,
Mhm.
fighting alongside Black Panther. Like, it's so many things you can do um, with that concept as well.
That'd be great.
I just don't want it to be a cultural or political thing. I just want it to be because it's a superhero
Because
that a lot
it's
of people like.
fun.
Yeah,
Right. No,
I,
exactly.
and that's the only problem is that if that were to happen, it would go straight to being political and cultural,
Mhm.
not just something that would fit in that area. I think.
Right.
I
No,
can see it
100%,
now.
Chase.
I can see it now, right now.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! So we can have these black superheroes, but you can't have an Iron Man ride. Whoa, you talking?
Yeah.
Whoa, you crazy people! Wow, you got rid of Splash Mountain for this, and then you're doubling down with the Wakanda by the two black princesses and superheroes. Oh my gosh!
Yeah. And it's like, dude,
Horrible.
like, yeah.
That's funny. That's funny.
But
If
I'd
only
want to
if only Wakanda wasn't in Africa where they have a whole theme park based around Africa.
Right,
go.
right.
That'd be and like imagine, those mines. I'd want a jeep ride or that a simulation of that train thing going through those mines and the vibranium
Oh
mines.
yeah,
That was so
yeah.
That'd
cool
be cool.
because it was so colorful. Can be like Pandora, but with vibranium because the whole area is so purple and colorful. I was like,
To be
goodness.
honest, since OG brought it up, I don't care where they put it. I just want another Jeep attraction, like another
Right? Yeah.
track.
Uh,
If they use today's technology and use the same concept as the Jeep rides that we have now, that's like 10 out of 10 already.
Unless they
Yeah.
put
Yeah.
Wakanda in Dino Land and just retheme Dinosaur to the Vibranium Mine. Boom!
There
Boom!
you
Well,
go.
it's apparently it's on the cutting block, so we'll see.
Maybe it'll happen.
And last
Maybe.
question. Oh, wait, what?
I was just saying maybe that's what they'll
Oh,
say. They won't never. I don't think Disney will ever announce another project again. It'll just be maybe. And
Yeah, exactly. At least with Daddy Josh in there, he loves Maybe.
yeah,
I'm still asking when I'm gonna get that Tomorrowland entrance that they still have the concept art, the faded concept art on the rock walls of. Oh my goodness!
quick before you ask the last question. I'm sorry, it's because you just
I don't know.
brought that
Keep
up.
going.
As far as Tomorrowland goes, it's we all know it's
21 to 50.
severely overdue for refurbishment. Number one, number two, I personally don't think whatever they do. I personally don't think Star Tours fits in that area anymore, especially when we have a whole land dedicated to that IP. I just feel like
Right.
it's just starting to
Mm-hmm.
not make sense anymore. So whatever they do, I think that should be the first thing is either retheme
Well,
or change this whole section over here.
No, you're right
they'll
on the
do
money, Jalen. With
50.
Tomorrowland and with Star Tours too, because Star Tours, you have this whole area now for Star Wars. Utilize
Yeah,
it. Like what they should do with Galaxy's Edge is get rid of your timeline, and then you can put all of Star Wars over there. And
yeah,
then with Tomorrowland, get rid of Star Tours. There's no need for it anymore, right? Because you already have a
right,
whole area dedicated to it. So yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. I mean, that whole Star Tours thing really messed with my brain a little bit. I was like, yeah, this is weird. I don't really like this, you know?
yeah.
Um,
And
and and and you're right.
go ahead.
Tomorrowland needs it desperately.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking like, as we're talking about, it's like what if we think about it when they have like the May the 4th and all that, it takes over Tomorrowland and it's like it's and they only do that because how you were saying about the timeline. They can't technically
Right.
they can't do that in Batu because it doesn't fit their timeline. They don't Darth Vader's already dead and stuff like that, so they can't bring that type of theming to Batu. But I don't think it's fair because you could have a whole different situation going, new and fresh concept going on here, but yet you still want to hold on so tight to this Star Wars IP when you have a whole land that you spent billions of dollars on on the back of the park. Like, let that be that. You made that decision to make it its own timeline. Why do other parts of the park have to suffer for that
Right.
project? I don't think that's fair.
Well, that's
100%.
Tomorrowland is Star Wars land. Really. Seasons of the Force, when that was happening in 2015, that was more of a Star Wars land than Star Wars land. They
Yeah.
had
And
the
then and
music blasting. It was like "Cha-dum, cha-dum, cha-da-da-da," with
Yeah.
all over the land, and the flags and the characters. Like,
Yeah. That was cool.
wow, crazy! I don't know how
it
they
was
could
definitely an experience.
transport that over. And then they had Hyperspace Mountain. That was your coaster. It was a great little
But
town
see,
Star Wars
but see,
land.
that made sense because we didn't have galaxies at the time. So
Yeah,
Right.
I know. Let's go
so
at that, and they made an actual Star Wars area and took all of that
and
away.
and it's like same thing with hyperspace mountain. Like I don't think that fits anymore either because we're gonna it's gonna sound repetitive, but it's the truth. Like we don't Star Wars does not fit anywhere else in the park besides in the back of the park. That's where it's meant to be. That's where it should stay.
Right.
There could be
No,
so many,
100%.
especially with the Innovations building. I mean, that building has been rotting there and be repurposed for photo ops for Darth Vader and things of that nature. Like, why are we just letting this? Only what 5% of that building is used on a daily like that whole thing could be repurposed or demolished and used for a whole new concept. But we're getting maybe Frontierland and maybe this and maybe that. We should be focusing on the stuff that's just sitting there. Like there's nothing going on.
No, yeah, absolutely. That launch bay building, you're right, Jalen. It's like 5%, if that, and that's even being generous. 5% of it's being
Yeah,
used, and it's
Mhm.
like you have this massive building. Either like you said, either put something of substance in there, like an actual attraction, or bulldoze it and
yeah,
build something else on that land. But it's just sitting there, and it's been rotting for the longest time.
yeah.
And,
And
and,
that's
and this
frustrating.
frustrating. It's very frustrating. And that building has a history. It's like that building's like cursed or something. That building has a history of issues like that. Cause I remember after America Sings closed,
Mhm,
I think it was, I don't know my dates exactly, but it was like from like in the 70s maybe or something.
mhm.
Um, it was vacant up until they made it Innovations in 98. So it was vacant for
Well,
It's a
like at
huge
least a
gap.
decade or 15 years, something like that.
Yeah,
And then it was vacant, basically vacant again. It's like,
yeah. It's
yeah, and
frustrating
so
because it's frustrating because it's like as a guest, as a fan, you want to see things going on, and it's starting to seem like Tomorrowland is starting to become dead. Like it's stuff slowly but surely is starting to die down, and it just seems like a forgotten about area of the park. And you would think that's like, my opinion, that was always my favorite land because of Space Mountain and just the aesthetic of Tomorrow. That was always my favorite land, and it's frustrating because like my favorite land is being that gets no love. We all know Fantasyland is gonna get the most love and attention because it's the castle and princess, and that's gonna always get the
yeah,
most attention. Um, but it just seems like you would think Tomorrowland, technically, in my eyes, when you get to the hub, the first thing that you notice besides the castle is Tomorrowland because it's open, it's right there. Everything
yep.
else is kind of beyond the walls. You don't really see what's going on. So you would think the first land that you notice would get the most attention, but for some reason they have other plans.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
crazy.
very interesting. Like it's pretty bad. And now we just get a DVC lounge. Well, the first new
Yeah,
thing to Tomorrowland in years.
it
Oh,
needed that. We needed a DVC lounge
yes,
over anything else.
we definitely did.
Yeah.
For all the lovely DVC people that stay here, we have so many DVC units. It's just we have more than
Yeah.
Florida. It's crazy.
We're not building a whole hotel just for them. They're not getting their own hotel.
Right.
How
Yeah,
much you want to
exactly.
bet that lounge will stay like less than 10% empty all the time?
Yeah.
Probably. I'm hoping it's canceled because now we have new management basically with Bob Iger. I hope it's
Hopefully.
canceled.
'Cause I mean, really, I don't know. Here in the chat, there's 5 people. Anyone here at DVC? I feel like there's not a lot of those that come to Disneyland. I mean, maybe a few, but I feel like the DVC section of the Grand Californian and the new thing is enough for them. I don't think they need to occupy a whole upper level of, and even the lounge didn't even look impressive. DVC member
Um,
charging
And
ports and
that's
some chairs or something.
and that's the thing. You start to notice like Disney is just doing stuff. Like who sat there and approved and was just like, yeah, we need a DVC lounge in this forgotten about rotten building. Let's just put a DVC lounge. That's the best idea. Like who sat there and agreed upon that? Like that does not make any sense at all.
yeah,
Like I don't know.
crazy.
It's
Terrible. Okay. So, Epic Universe is being built, but in the future, another theme park I'm sure will be built. What state or what area of the country? It doesn't have to be by Disney Universal. It could be anything. What, what major theme? Where would you like to the major theme park go? The middle of the country, northeast, northwest. What state do you think needs it? Would benefit? And what would you like it to be? Oh,
Interesting. Well, I have a few options. I'd like to get. I know this isn't like another state, but I'd like to get a third park in Anaheim. I'd like to get a third park in Anaheim eventually one day. Hopefully, we do. I think we
yes,
will.
please.
So that's definitely something I want to see. I like to also see a resort in Australia. I think Australia seems like an interesting part of the world that you can put something like a
Ooh,
Disney park
yeah.
in, right? And they have a unique kind of culture and everything that you can kind of tailor that park
Mhm.
around. Maybe you don't do a Magic Kingdom over there. Maybe you do more of like a nature-driven park, like an Animal Kingdom or something. I don't know, but I think that would be a
Yeah,
possibility, right? I think
Disney
that'd be
back.
Disney Outback, and then also if you want to do like in the U.S., I think something like Texas might work. I don't know. I
I've
think something
But
always
like that
wait,
might
I
work.
thought they're gonna move Disneyland to Texas.
Right? That's what the rumor. Remember that one? That was funny.
That's crazy.
You actually believe like they're really like or they're really dead set on that. I'm like, okay.
Breaking news from Inside the Magic.
Yeah, it's is I definitely agree with the whole Texas thing, but I it's tough because it's the whole weather thing. Like Disney's gonna be where they think it's the best like scenery and what fits their theming the best. So it's like I agree. I think Texas would be a perfect spot. Everything is bigger in
Mhm.
Texas. They have the land. But it's the weather. That's still gonna
True.
be the pull away.
Mhm.
And other than Texas, there's not a lot of other spots in the US. Like obviously we can't build it in North Dakota, South Dakota. We
Right.
don't want to build it up north when
Mhm.
it's snowing. And so it's like it's tough. So it would have to be out of the country, and I I mean it's tough because I think Disney has put a park in each market that fits the best. I think France
Mhm.
would be a perfect market. They did it. I think
Mhm.
the Asian market would be perfect. They did it. I think obviously California would be the perfect market. That was the original. Florida would be a
Mhm.
perfect market. They got it there. So it's like everywhere that would fit perfectly, they've done it. Um, but like if we're just talking about if weather wasn't a factor, yeah, I think Texas would be the perfect spot.
Yeah, Texas, the little cowboy hat on the Mickey, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And they can spout their have a theme land to their religious views over there, and no, Texas and Disney and Texas would be pretty cool. It could be even shaped like Texas. That'd be
Yeah, that would.
pretty. The outline was shaped like
Yeah.
Texas, and they love themselves over there. So if it was like a Texas land, pretty. Oh, and they'd have some really good barbecue. Mm. Ooh,
Well,
and
if we know Disney and we know Texas, I literally as I've never been to Texas, but everything that I've seen, everything is like super and plus and big. I wouldn't be surprised if Disney were to push through with that project. It'd just be a super park, like a super, like
Mhm.
put the whole Disney World, all four parks, all into one, like kind of like what Epic Universe is kind of doing, but just put all four parks in one big plot of land because it's Texas. They just have to do it because it's Texas. That'd
Go
be
big.
insane.
Go
Yeah.
big or go home over in Texas. Yeah, I definitely am thinking Texas would be a good spot. I've been to Dallas. Dallas is pretty nice. Hot and humid in the spring, summertime, but it's still pretty nice, like a Florida type of thing.
And
Um,
you know what's messed up? You know what's messed up is because if they were to do that, crazy fans, and I'd be one of them, we'd probably go and we'd still go and walk through the whole entire experience just because
mm,
I feel like we have to.
oh, I
Yeah.
go to Texas for the park.
Oh
I
yeah, me too.
go to Texas. Oh man, it would be in Austin. Oh, you think Almighty Coast things would be in Austin? Never been to Austin, but I heard it's very. A lot of my friends that go to Austin think it's fantastic. They come back with only great things. Texas, it is, guys. Come on, Iger.
Make it
Iger's gonna be
happen.
on OG's channel next week, so I'll bring it up.
Yes.
Well, thank you guys for joining. OG, where can we you?
You can find me on YouTube, Orange Grove 55, where we have discussions like this about theme parks, mostly Disney, but we also dive into the movies, the streaming, the corporate side, all that good stuff. Check us out, Orange Grove 55. And thank you, Ethan, so much for having us on. And Jalen, it was an honor, sir, talking Disney with you, man. It was a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
it's definitely an honor being able to be in the same room as you guys. It's crazy still.
A lot of fun. Thank you,
Every
Jalen.
time I've tuned in into like either one of you guys' channels, I always get antsy because I talk out loud. I was like I'm talking to myself. So,
I'm gonna get you on. We'll talk after show, but I'm gonna get you on my
okay,
channel very soon. We'll talk days and times for sure. I want to have you
all
on
right,
for sure, Jalen.
okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And
Yeah, no, my
Jalen,
pleasure.
where can you? Theme Park EXP626.
Right now I'm active on Twitter. I'm at there's my handle right there. Well, the capital T is you don't have to put capital. I'm gonna get started on YouTube soon, but right now I'm active in the theme park community on Twitter, Dis Twitter, whatever they call it. I'm on there. I'm on the replies, and sometimes I'll make a post, but I don't get that much attention, so I'll reply to other people and interact with other people. So you'll see me on there, and once I grow on there, then things will come bigger. So.
Cool.
Sounds fantastic. Go give him a follow. Get him to 100 by Christmas.
Yes.
Else.
Follow.
Boom.
Yes.
And as always, subscribe and have a fantastic day. Thanks for joining.